£260. Yes, that's what
Take
he.
home.
Yes.
This might not even be able to pay your rent.
That was about £4,437.
Huh?
Now I know you're looking at me.
I picked holidays.
Good, smart move.
You said it before. Hey, stop that. Hi, wonderful people. My name is Nanelle Griselda. Today I have here another grandma of overseas.
Sorry, grandma, please. Oh,
Another grandma of overseas YouTube.
Mm.
Like I always say, I used to watch her and Nissy. They started this way before. Vivian Oseni, if you don't know her already. And today we're just going to compare our payslips. Vivian works in the NHS, and as most of you know already, I work in a care home. And we both have been on maternity leave. So we're just going to compare our payslips during that period, because people are always asking how much exactly nurses in NHS earn when they're on maternity leave, and those in private sector also earn. So today we're going to show you our payslips from month to month so that you know exactly how much we're earning. But obviously we'd have to explain some things prior, so that you understand everything. Sorry for the interruption, guys, but I need to say this. So this video is proudly sponsored by Lemonade Finance. So if you don't know what Lemonade Finance is by now, I guess you've been living under a rock. Lemonade Finance is a money transfer app that allows you to send money from the UK and Canada to many other countries. Ivory Coast, Ghana, Nigeria, so many countries, guys, so many countries. You can download it on an iPhone or Android. You can use the link in the description to just quickly download. You can send the money directly from your bank account to the person's mobile money account or bank accounts back in Ghana or wherever it is you're sending it to. And they have the best rates at present. Check. If you don't believe me, just go and compare. They have the best transfer rates at present. And guys, there is no hidden charges or no hidden fees. And the most exciting thing is, if you send £100 and above using my referral code, you get 10% of the money you send back into your account. If you send £100 using the code Nanelle, the referral code Nanelle, you get £10 back into your account. If you send £200, you get £20 back into your account. That's if you use my referral code. And guys, this is capped at £50. You're getting the best transfer rates possible, no transfer charges, no hidden fees, and you get 10% back. I mean, where else can you get this? Download Lemonade Finance, send money, use my referral code, and let me know what you think in the description, okay? Thank you so much. Now let's get back to the video. So Vivian, just introduce yourself briefly. I don't want this to be a very long video.
Thank you very much for having me. I feel very honored. Okay, for the grandma part, please.
It's just a joke. I call you grandmas.
Anyway, but thank you very much. I really appreciate bringing me on here. My name is Vivian Oseni, and I've been in the UK for a while now.
Please, what is a while? You said you've been here for a while. What is a while? 1 day, 2 days?
4 years plus. Okay, so 4 years plus. Okay, I'm a nurse in the UK. I work in the NHS now as a breast care specialist, and I have a YouTube channel. Yeah, Vivian Oseni.
Watch her videos as well. Vivian, what makes somebody eligible for maternity leave in the NHS?
So basically, you have to be working at least 3 months into the job. So by the time you deliver, you are at least on your 1 year mark. Anything short of that, you get nothing from the NHS. By the time you give birth, when they count back, you should have spent 26 weeks in practice. It's usually confusing. So what I say is, if you have worked 3 months and then you got pregnant on your 4th month in the NHS, you should be entitled to the full pay. Anything short of that, you get nothing. Or then you are entitled to maternity allowance from government based on the national insurance that you have paid over the months that you've worked. So you get something, but it's now how much you get. That's the problem.
Me, I was really confused because I was hearing so many things, and on my contract when I was coming, they didn't state anything like that as to how much I'll be paid when I'm pregnant, and I obviously could not use NHS guidelines as well, so I was torn. So I sent the HR an email to ask that I'll be going on maternity leave soon. How much am I going to get so that I can prepare and plan my finances? And then he sent me an email, and I'll leave a screenshot of the reply on the screen so guys you can see. But before then, let's talk about the support that you received when you were pregnant in the NHS. I'll talk about the support that I received, and then I will move to the pay.
Okay. So one thing I'll say, especially people who are coming pregnant, I don't know how the care homes work, and I know at least for people who have asked, their policies are usually strict. However, if you're pregnant and you're coming to the UK, just come via the NHS. That's your safest bet to get care. It's usually best. Now, if you have a manager who knows what they're doing, who knows the maternity policy, then things should be easy for you. So first off, when you get pregnant, in the UK, nothing is a secret here. So first tell your manager, don't bring your African way into it of wanting to keep. You're just shortchanging yourself. So tell your manager as soon as you're pregnant. And once you're pregnant, from the day you say you're pregnant, every sickness you have, in the NHS, you have patterns of sickness absences that can lead you to be having your first formal or, wherever. The more sickness absences you get, the more trouble you get into basically. But from the day you get pregnant, whatever sicknesses you get is counted as pregnancy-related sicknesses and does not amount to sickness absences. So that's one benefit. Now, so all your morning sicknesses, name it, you can stay at home for as long as you like. 1 week you self-certify. If you want to stay longer, you have to go to your GP to self-certify you for longer, as long as you want. However, there's a caveat. If you keep getting sicknesses in your pregnancy, by the time you are at 26 weeks or 6 months, they can decide for you to go on an early maternity leave. Basically because you're always sick. So there's no point just, wasting our time. Just go home and start a maternity leave. So play it by the ear. Don't just keep going sick. So go sick when you need to be sick. Rest if you need to be sick. That's the basic thing. Secondly, you have risk assessment with your manager. The manager is going to assess your risk. So if you are somebody who has very difficult pregnancies, you have some complications that come with your pregnancy, or you've developed one in this pregnancy, they have a risk assessment, and they put you off some kind of tax in the hospital, don't pull patients, don't do things like that, just to keep you safe during that pregnancy. Now, after that is done, you have a meeting with your HR. In that meeting, it might be with your manager or just you alone and the HR people. They'll talk to you about maternity benefits, tell you what you're entitled to. So in this meeting, they begin to do all their calculations of weeks. And prior to then, you should have gotten your certificate proving that you're pregnant from your midwife. So once you get that, they have that meeting with you, talk to you about your benefits, and decide how you want to get paid, what day you want to go on maternity leave. And with the NHS, you have to go to maternity leave at most 2 weeks before your estimated date of delivery. Once they know your EDD, they always give you 2 weeks before, except you plan to go earlier. So you choose when. And then they tell you the way you can get paid. There are 2 forms of payments. They have what they call the enhanced package, where you get more pay in the first few months. And then there's another package where the pay is equally distributed along your 12 months. Because I wasn't entitled to maternity pay the first time. So I didn't even have that option of this thing.
Okay,
but
so the first time you were not entitled to because you had not been here.
Yeah, for that long.
26. Okay.
Okay. The NHS, you have 9 months paid. Okay, so you have ability to have 12 months of maternity leave, but then 9 months is paid for. The 3 months is not paid. So let's get that right. So you should have your choice. If you want to spend the whole year of maternity leave, you decide to do the distributed type, or if you know you're going to go back at that 9 months mark, do the 9 months and then you just come back after 9 months. So it depends on what you want to do.
In my care home as well, they said about 39 weeks. That's approximately 9 months and some weeks,
Yeah.
or almost 10 months. So it's the same thing. But to date, I don't really know whether if I had gotten pregnant immediately after whether I would have been eligible for pay or whatever it is. I don't know, because I got pregnant years after I had started working with them. Let me talk about the support I got as well. So in the care home, they had a risk assessment as well. I informed my manager that I was pregnant, blah, blah, blah. And then she had a risk assessment with me. It was just me and the manager. So they would just basically check the unit I'm working, because we have a dementia unit, and then there could be residents that have behaviors that's challenge. So they'll tell you that, okay, are you comfortable working in the dementia unit? Because some of the residents could be aggressive sometimes. Okay, so all right, I said, oh, I'm comfortable. Okay, these particular residents, you have to be careful when you're around them. I'll not advise that you're alone with them, that these things. So we talked about all that. They even assess the shoes I have on to see if they're comfortable enough for me, and all that. And then and then another thing was, anytime that I had a hospital appointment, I don't have to say cancel my shifts that day.
Just go.
I have to go for the appointment, and then I'll still receive pay. But
Pay
after the appointment, I have to come back to work.
to work.
And then,
I
so
think with the
sometimes
NHS is the same, but most people don't know. But that's why I say always talk. You can even take the day off. So anytime you have appointments, just go, have your appointments and come back. It doesn't affect anything.
I didn't know that initially. So anytime I have an appointment, I'll cancel my shift. And I was missing out until the manager told me later. Another thing was basically support from, the other staff, because they know that you're pregnant. So even if you drop a pen, yeah. So that you can help. It was lovely. But I just want to mention that, NHS, most of the things might be similar.
Yeah.
But for care homes or private companies, it's not like a general representation because every company has their policy and all that. I have a friend that works for the private mental health facility that says that she's going to get nearly the same amount that she's earning when she's on maternity leave because she's asked about it, and that's what they said. Okay. So it's different. But I'm sure that what I'll be sharing now will portray most private companies or private health facilities, but not all of them. I just want you to know that. So now let's talk about the pay. How many months were you on leave for when you were pregnant?
So 9 months.
You took the whole 9 months?
Yeah, 1 year. I get children now. What you see, everybody keeps asking me this, you took the whole 9 months. The truth is you get tired of maternity leave. And looking back, I know I always had the permission to do things like, do a course, do something. That's one thing I know that I've done differently. I know there's a YouTuber who was on maternity leave. She said a course. So what I saw that she said, I was quite happy that, that is what you should do. Don't just waste that time. It should be a time where you do things, personal development, plan and regroup and come back. Look for other things bigger to do when you come back. So, but it's just it's the way you look at it. I think I took it mostly because of childcare. When you compare the stress of childcare by going back earlier, decide to stay the whole time.
Your case was different because
so if you think you are sorted in that area, why not? You came here to make the money anyway. So let the children be sorted and you go back to work. But when you know that the stress of childcare is so much, then you have to weigh your options and decide what you want to do. I mean, if you have 1 year, why not take that time off?
I was off for just about 6 months, or maybe 5 months and some weeks. And then the main thing was I was thinking that if I was in Ghana,
you would have gone back to work.
I would have gone back to work no matter what.
I know.
That's one. And two, if I was in America as well, America is 3 months.
3 months,
as well. No matter what. So I was like, so why am I
taking back? Well, what I always say is if you want to go back, then you should know that your childcare is sorted. And if you don't want to go back, make sure you are using your time well. That's just it. So that by the time you go back, you don't feel like you've lost or you just wasted time or you wasted your life.
I used that time to really grow my YouTube channel, and I think it worked. That's the time I did a lot of videos to grow my channel. And then also I got help. My sister visited, so I was like, okay, let me use this opportunity to start my kids' shift, and then I just
it worked very well. I think it was during my first maternity leave that I started my YouTube channel. Doing nothing, I'm like, okay, so just do something. I mean, I weigh my option and I see I'm better off staying this 1 year and going back, and then you start sorting childcare again. But until then,
okay. So this is the email that I was sent when I asked them how much they were going to send me. So I'll leave it on the screen so that you can see. Nanelle will receive £795.14 per week for the first 6 weeks. Remaining 33 weeks are paid at £151.97 per week. So the first 6 weeks, I was going to get nearly £800. That's before tax. Yes.
Okay.
And then
in my head.
and then the remaining 33 weeks, I was going to get about £151.97 per week.
Can you just tell me what it is per month? So I can, because I'm just trying to figure out what that translates to in a month.
So it's difficult to say, but if I, let's say, decide to share the 795 across the 9 months, I was going to get nearly £1,000 a month.
Okay.
But like you said, you see that with the NHS, you have the option to choose the one that you get a lot in the beginning. But this one, they didn't give me the option.
Yeah.
If they had given me the option, I would have just said they should share it on top of the rest of the months.
Okay.
So because here it's like the first 6 weeks you are receiving the bulk of your money, but the remaining 3 weeks you're going to get only £151.97 97 per week.
A week.
That's even before tax.
Okay, now I'll give this clue to those who want to go maternity leave in NHS. So there's a new legislation coming in. We have the weekend directive in NHS where you have the WTD for weekend pay. Now, what they're trying to do is to scrap that thing off such that when you go on leave, you don't see a significant drop in your pay. So you get almost the same thing that you would have gotten normally on any leave that you go to. So basically the same thing with your maternity leave. So for those who would still maybe are close to going before these things start happening, what we usually say is do more enhanced shifts before you go on maternity leave. So in the first 3 months before you go on maternity leave, or the last month, if you somebody who did nights, who did weekends, do them more, because those will count towards how they calculate how much they pay you. And that translates to you getting more. So if you're just doing normal shifts, they will still calculate it that way and pay you basic money. But if you do more enhanced shifts, nights, banks, Saturday and Sundays, it also translates to the bulk of money you get the first time. So I have a pay slip here on the first pay, and this is for somebody who was doing night shifts, nights, Saturdays and Sundays. Okay, so you see in the pay slip it says night shift enhancement, £222, Sunday enhancement, 37, and you have SMP and OMP. So OMP is what makes you get commensurate to your pay in maternity pay in the NHS, and that was about £4,437. Now I know you're looking at me. Just wait. I know you're looking at me like, what's that? How is that possible? So why that money is that much? It's just the fact that the person has been doing 9 shifts. Okay, so 9 shifts, Sundays, Saturdays, prior to that maternity leave.
Okay, so let me explain to those that don't understand what Vivian is saying. Vivian is saying that now, when you are on leave, any type of leave, and I think I explained this in my video where I was talking about the highest pay that I've received in the UK. When you are on leave, the government does not want like your leave pay to be so small.
Yeah.
They want your leave pay to be a reflection of how much you'd have earned if you were still working.
Exactly.
So as much as possible, they use how much you were earning for you went on leave to calculate how much, so that your leave pay will be a bit close to how much you were earning.
And you don't suffer, basically. I mean, it also means that you don't suffer because you're on leave.
Because people are not taking their leave and they're just working throughout the year, and then that means you are going to be sick, to put a stress on the NHS. So this is encouraging you to go on leave when you have to go on leave, because you
just
still
go on leave.
So this amount she's mentioning, the person was doing lots of weekends and nights prior to taking the leave. So that's
as a matter of fact, only weekends and nights. Let's just put it
only
that way.
Weekends and nights.
Only weekends and nights. Okay.
And then how much is this again?
£4,437.09.
Wow.
So that's
what's the take home?
So now that's where it gets tricky. Okay, so now you have the basic areas for the months, because before you got mat leave, now you must have been working, before you delivered. I know your mat leave starts immediately you give birth, if probably your delivery comes before your maternity leave. So if your maternity leave was in December 22nd and you deliver December 13th, which is before your 2 weeks, your mat leave starts December 14th. The basics in that month were about 1,370. Now, because you now are getting the maternity pay, they have to, take that pay back and pay it to you as maternity leave. I don't know if it makes sense. So you will see a minus on that value of £1,370. So they've taken that off the 4,437. That is to say, you're going to get your enhancements, but because maternity leave means you are being paid now as somebody who is on leave, you don't get the basic pay.
So the basic pay is just off.
Yeah. So now, by the time they took away tax, pension, and pension arrears, whatever that is, the net pay take home was £2,338 and 31 pence.
So that's. Let me also mention the first month, what I got. So the first month, my care home, we are paid every 28 days. So this first pay, I think I took annual leave. I still had annual leave, so I took annual leave, not maternity leave. I took annual leave just before I went on maternity leave. So this first pay, my annual leave, I took 1 week. I still had some days left. I took 1 week, and then my SMP. Remember, they were going to pay me $795 per week. So that time, that pay period, they paid about $2,285, and so my gross pay was $3,037, and then I took home $2,192. So that was my first month of maternity. I came home with £2,000.
So basically, your first month you should get good money. So the second one now, you see what the standard pay slip looks like. So it's OMP and SMP. The SMP on this is £496 and the OMP is £1,675 and 23 pence. The gross is £2,172 and take home is £1,780.
Okay, so for mine, the second one as well is only SMP. I'll show it on the screen so you can see. At this time, I was still receiving the 795 per week for the first 6 weeks, so it's quite high. And I had a gross of 2,537. I was still in that 6 weeks period. And then they deducted about 665 for my tax, my NI, my pension, and my net pay was 1,872. So that was the second maternity pay. Okay, now talk about the third one.
The third one is about the same thing. OMP now is 1,403 and 57 pence. SMP is 669.60 pence, and take home is £1,713 23 pence.
So with this mine, this is where it gets sad. At this point, I had finished receiving the 795 for the 6 weeks. I had finished receiving that. So now the SMP was strictly 151.97 per week. So when you get that 151.97 per week, £607. That's your gross.
That money is commensurate to what maternity allowance is. They say you get £151 highest, or whichever one is closest. If for instance your job pays less, so you get less. So but as nurses, our job is above that amount, so you only get that £151.
Yeah. So my gross pay was 607.88. So this was the first time I received something below.
And it just goes dun dun dun. What is like, oh God.
So deductions, I think they did not deduct. I see that there's a minus sign. So I think that
they didn't take tax.
It didn't take tax for me. Yeah. And then the net pay, I had 622.16. So at this point, if you did not plan your life well,
exactly, the stress comes in.
You did not do a lot of shit before going on maternity leave to get a lot of money. This might not even be able to pay your rent.
And also, just like they pay bank in arrears, your enhancements in the NHS are also paid in arrears. So you get the pay the following month. So that also helped. Some of the enhancements were paid in the first month. I think they also knew that this person wasn't going to be getting some pay. They kind of shared those money across the first 6 months. 1,720. So it continued like that for the next 4 months.
Okay, how much is it?
Sleep 1,700
as take home.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So where it began to drop was in the 6th month. So we have a pay slip now. So the OMP has finished. So you have only SMP here, and that is £650.
So the person had approximately 1,007 until they got to the 7th month.
Yes. Okay. So we now have SMP, which now paid £650 and then gradually reduced in the next month to £260. £260, yes. That's what yes. That's what it is, £260.
That was like the 8th month.
Yeah, £260 and 200. I think another one was £400, and that's it in the 9 months pay period.
Okay, so my pay slip now became almost like the same for the rest of the month. So the 4th one I had 621 take home. The 5th one I had 622 take home, like that. So it was now 620 something or until I started doing my kids shift, and then it started increasing again. So for those who don't know kids shift, can you briefly explain what kids shift is?
So kids shift is just an abbreviation for keeping in touch days. So for maternity, you have 10 days in which you can work and then you get paid. That's just 10 days. So all of your maternity leave, you can use it to keep in touch with what's happening, or you can use it to do your mandatory learnings, because you lose out on that when you're on maternity leave. So you can use that to do mandatory learning and come back, depending on what you want to do. Or if you do more than 10 days, it's assumed that you return back to work. So what I did with my first time was to use those 10 days to get some bucks in after the 9 months where you get maternity allowance. In those last 3 months of the 1 year, after the 9 months where you get something. I did key shifts, which now supplemented, getting some money till the 1 year was over.
So just like she explained, it's just 10 shifts. You're allowed to do 10 shifts while you're on maternity leave, and then those 10 shifts you'll be paid. But after the 10 shifts, the 11th shift will be considered like you resumed
from
work. So you just have to plan well and then know when to do a shift. And then my kids shift, what I was doing was that I picked holidays.
Good, smart move. Exactly.
I was picking, let's say, if I worked in December, I think I worked 25th or something, and then my company pays, I think, double or
holidays.
So when I did that shift, that month I had 1,401.
Yeah,
and
that's
I was
smart.
on maternity leave.
I always tell people, kids days is you get paid the same thing. And that's why when I had that issue with my hospital telling me I shouldn't have, because what I paid was a hot shift as a bank. Okay, so that shift is basically like getting like 3 times your pay. So I mean, I was almost getting 1 month salary in that 2 shifts I did. So, and my manager was like, what we should come back to work. I'm like, no, as far as I'm concerned, it's just 2 shifts I've done out of my 10 days. I mean, it's unfortunate that it happens to be your hot shift. If you don't want me to do it, fine, but you can't tell me to come back to work. So it's just working smart.
Another thing is, if you are getting those 600, whatever, to me, I think what you can do is, if you have support, if you have a partner or whatever, you can decide that those months that you are receiving the 600 or the 200 or whatever, you can decide to do 1 shift each month in those months.
Yeah, but to do after the government pay was just for 9 months. That 9 months where you worked when you're pregnant, that's what you get paid for. So in the 10th month, I worked 3 shifts. So that first 2 shifts that caused the whole buhaha, and then 1 other shift. 3 shifts in the 10th month, 3 shifts in the 11th month, and 3 shifts on the 12th month. So that just gave incomes for those, even if it was small, but I mean something came in and you're not left dry.
So it's basically that. So I have shared already, I had 795 for 6 weeks, and then the remaining 33 weeks I had 151.97 per week. So the time that I was earning the 151.97 per week, I was taking home around £600 every month. But then before then, I was taking home 1,008, sometimes even 2,000 until that 6-week period was over. And then with what Vivian shared,
there is an enhanced package basically for maternity leave. So you decide you can either get good pay for the first 6 months, and which will be commensurate to what you would normally have earned. And in the last 3 months, you get lesser. That's the SMP period until your salary tails off. Okay, so the first 6 months, you don't feel like you were out of the job, but then in the 7th month, it drops because your OMP period has finished. And
so you know what I'll try to do? I'll try and add my first 6 months, and I'll add the first.
I'll do that. I'll send it across.
I'll leave you on the
so you can compare. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah, I'll see who wins. I think the difference might not be much.
Yeah,
I
don't think it's going to be much. The only difference, because just like I said, in the NHS, you have the enhanced, and then you have the one where you can spread it across. So you can actually have somebody who is getting less than what is on this payslip because they chose the equalized, pay. Okay, so you'll just have a consistent pay throughout maternity leave.
All right, so well said, guys. I hope you have learned something from it. I'll leave the total, my 6 months total, on the screen because I didn't do the entire 9 months, and then I'll combine what Vivian shared as well, and then I'll leave it on the screen so that you see. But like she said, it's just going to be similar, but somebody might get lower pay that's more consistent in the NHS. And then, like I also said, my care home, what they pay me is not a reflection of what all other care homes pay. But
I always say to people, sorry for cutting in, always read your maternity policy. Every organization has it. Everyone has it. I mean, people say, I don't know where is it. Ask them for it. One thing the NHS also does, I think my manager did that to me, was to give me the policy. She printed it out and gave it to me, even though I knew where it was in the internet. But read it. Sometimes you'll find things that you did not even know were there. Things like paternity leave, shared parental leave, adoption leaves. I mean, somebody's adopting a child and has to leave, for goodness sake. So just find out what is available to you. You'll be surprised. I mean, things are available to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Vivian. I'll leave a link to Vivian's channel in the description so you can check out her channel. So thank you so much for the time.
Thank you very, very much. Have a lovely week. Bye.